Alright guys, day 10. 12 days of Christmas and only 2 days left. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords of leaping. So I just thought might be a bit morbid, but I thought I would just look at the 10 leading causes of death in the world. I just had a look at the WHO website, and again, this is in 2019. Now, I'm a doctor, so talking about and thinking about death is not something that's strange to me, so forgive me if you think it's a bit morbid. I do think that, life is 100% death rate, right? So I do think that we should probably, normalize the conversation, because it's an inevitable part of life. We're all going to have to deal with it at some point. And, maybe a generation ago, because of the fact that there weren't the advances in medical sciences and societies were organized differently, people would die. They would die at home, and it would be something that the families talked about and dealt with emotionally. And maybe the fact that things are different now, I don't know, things are different now, so do we deal with it as well? Do we talk about it as well? Do we prepare for it as well? I don't know, questions. So the from 10 to 1 leading causes of death in 2019. Number 10 is kidney disease. Number 9 is diabetes. Number 8 is diarrheal disease. Number 7 is dementia. Number 6 is lung cancer and upper airway cancer. Number 5 is neonatal conditions. I found that was really interesting. 5th leading cause of death. Number 4 is lower respiratory tract infections. Number 3 is COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I explain it to patients as, smoking-related lung disease, which it is in most cases. Number 2 is stroke. And number 1 is ischemic heart disease. Now, that's not to say that, I want you to have fear if you have any of these things. It's just, I think it's interesting to know, and the 10 lords of leaping were in reference to the 10 commandments. So, there is a degree to which you can split the commandments in half, and the first 5 I've heard people describe as, pertaining to my relationship with God, so vertical, if you will, and the last 5 are pertaining to my relationship with other people, so, horizontal. Number 1, you shall have no other gods but me. Self-explanatory. God's expectation of us is that he's going to be number 1. Number 2 is you shall not make for yourself any idols. And it's interesting because, we know that in theory, you shouldn't have any idols. We know it, but it's one of those things. I think actions speak louder than words. So, for instance, if I say, to my wife, baby, you're my priority, but then I act in a way that contradicts that, my actions show where my heart is. So, although you would say, okay, when we list our priorities, God number 1, then, spouse, then family, then job or whatever. But priorities only come into play in reality when you have to make a choice. And how often are we making a choice to do something else, say something else, or not to do something that we should do or say? And that shows the fact that maybe we have made an idol. An idol is anything that is our priority, or also our number 1. Number 3 is you shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Now, again, we're used to hearing that people stub your toe and then, Jesus Christ, or when people exclaim it, and in language, and fine, you might say, please don't say that and stuff like that. But I was thinking about it the other day, so I heard a preacher talk about it, especially this is to Christians who bear the name of Christ in churches specifically. When as a leader, like taking the Lord's name in vain, is that in terms of exclaiming Jesus Christ, but it's also as a Christian saying things like, I am going to do this, So I represent, so, this is in my role as a representative of Christ. I'm going to do this. I'm not doing it, or, yeah, taking the Lord's name in vain. So I think we just need to be mindful of the things that we say as individuals and as organizations, because, yeah, taking the Lord's name in vain is not just people cursing. Number 4 is remember the Sabbath. God made it for us. There are health benefits of the rest. Number 5 is honor your father and your mother so that you can live long in the land. It's interesting. So this is the first promise that there is in the Bible where God says, if you do this, then I will do this. Honor your father and mother so you live long. So I remember in life group, I saw it was one of those icebreaker questions we asked. And it's interesting. So if the question is, if this was the only thing that determined how long you lived, your honor to your parents, how long would you live? Interesting question. And if it's less long than you might have liked to live, then there's still time to do something about it. Is there still time to do something about it if your parents are still living? And I think the thing about honor and respect, I've learned that a lot of that is, it's akin to the love language thing. So, for instance, there are some cultures who are big on, this is how you show me respect. And people who are outside that culture, who don't necessarily pertain to it, say, because I can do all those things, but that doesn't mean I can respect you. But that is how the person, receives respect. So honor your father and mother in the way that they perceive honor. And if you do that, then you'll live long. Number 6 is shall not commit adultery. So again, self-explanatory. Number 6 is you shall not murder. So the Bible says didn't say you shouldn't kill. It said you shouldn't murder. That's a conversation for another day. And again, it pertains to what people talk about in terms of the death penalty and stuff like that. Number 7 is you shall not commit adultery. I find it interesting because there's loads of things, like there's loads and loads of ways that people sin, but God was specific. These things are specific things that God was like, I want to single these things out and say, because I know that you might have a lean towards that. Make sure that you're careful about this. Number 8 is you shall not steal. Number 9 is that you should not give false testimony. So again, the stealing, obviously we know don't rob a bank, but are you stealing if you take something from work that doesn't belong to you, or pens, or these are just questions. Paper, stationery, and from a false testimony point of view, can you say that everything you have said about a particular subject or particular person has been the whole truth to your knowledge? And number 10 is you shall not covet. The thing I like about this is that, so as I'm getting older and I believe more mature, I'm realizing that God has blessings for everybody, so it's just a waste of time to covet. The blessings of God they're not like Isaac. So when Jacob messed about with Esau and stuff, and he stole his birthright and he tricked his dad and blah blah blah, when Esau came and tried to get his blessing, Isaac was like, bruh, I blessed him. I gave him the singular blessing. And Esau was, annoyed. But I don't believe God is like that, God is so vast that you being blessed doesn't take away from me being blessed. And sometimes the temptation can be, I want that thing because it's shiny or whatever. And it's a gratification thing. I want it now. I want what you have. Sometimes because you have it, But also, you know, I'm looking at my life and thinking, well, I want what you have. I suppose it's akin to jealousy in this sort of situation. But the fact that somebody else, God is doing something for someone else, or they're moving forward, doesn't take away from mine, you know. So, yeah, don't covet. So, yeah, 10 days of Christmas. We'll get into the 12th, 2 more days. Please like, please share, please comment. Let me know. Is there another series that you want me to do? I'm thinking about things to do in the new year. Yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to Christmas.